Hi, everyone. This is Mr. Ledbetter again. I hate that we had to have another snow session. We weren't able to do this in person again, but this just is what it is. So I wanted to try and hop on here and get as much information to y'all while we can. Hopefully, your coaches are able to show this video to you. If when we go back to school, I know it's looking pretty bad out there. But today is just going to be another kind of overview of the materials, the resources that you may have. So, just a reminder, the purpose of these sessions is really just to get you familiarized with the process of getting your CDL, get you some opportunities to get some experience, meet some people that may be helpful to you later on down the road, and then ultimately culminate in either signing up to take the test, figuring out a study method in order for you to do that on your own whenever we're whenever we're done with these sessions, and then ultimately, go to CDL school wherever that may be for you. So for today's session, we will have this recording. Obviously, this is what y'all are going to watch, but whenever you watch it, know that you can come back to this document and watch it over again if you need to. We also have a recording from last year's group. We had Erica Betancourt with SMG. Sometimes you see APAC, SMG, and that's Standard Materials Group. So one of their services is concrete delivery, and they have worked with us to get students jobs or offered to talk to students about what it's like to come work for their company. So we have a link on this document for you to see their website. I will show you right here that they have some openings pretty often. Most of the times, let's look at, I guess their jobs right now are in Springdale, but they have a CDL trainee. And so that might be something that you could be considered for, that you may want to look into. If we look into this, it is it may take a minute to pull up. I guess if it does, we may not look at it. I want to say they had a $1,500 sign-on bonus, and then they would go through all the motions of getting you trained to have your CDL and doing all those things. So it doesn't look like it's going to load, but that would be a pretty good opportunity to have. And you could just type in SMG on Google and then go to the join their team page, and then you could see that right there. Maybe it loaded. Yep, it did. So yes, $1,500 sign-on bonus. You have all your responsibilities, qualifications, and work requirements that you may need to know, knowledge requirements, all of this information right here. But this is in Springdale, so it's a local position that you may be able to get if that's something that you're interested in. Want to talk again about the Department of Transportation physicals, the DOT physicals that you need to get. So, and sorry if you hear any dogs or any noises, I'm at home today, and so you may hear some noises from my dogs. But for the physicals, we have the two options that we've identified as being pretty effective were the post DOT physicals, and that address is there. It's in Fayetteville near the Hobby Lobby off College, if you know where that is. The phone number is right there as well, along with the cost. So it's about $80. You can walk in or you can make an appointment. Either is fine. If you make an appointment, you get in, get out pretty quick. Walk in, you may have to wait, but it'll be a quick process regardless. And they're open 8 to 4, I believe, Monday through Fridays. And then in the Gentry area, so for those of you that Gentry might be a little closer, there's the Tucker Chiropractic Center. We've got the address and the phone number as well, and they are open from 8 to 5:30 on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then they close early at noon on Tuesdays. This may be updated. The hours may have changed, but this is what we've gone off of. And the appointment that you need is required. You can't just walk in, unlike the post physicals. So, depending on what works for you, if you know you are going to be in Fayetteville sometime soon and you just want to walk in, maybe you go to post. But if you live in the Gentry area or that's closer to you, just give them a call at that number and set an appointment, and you should be good to go. Moving on from that, we want to talk a little bit more about the phone app that you may be able to use as well. So, just a reminder, we have been told that this app's a pretty good one. Now, if you find another app that you find really helpful, or you find some other information that we're going to discuss today that may be helpful for you, feel free to use that. But this app, the CDL Prep app, which we've got down here marked in red, it's going to be pretty extensive in the knowledge that you get, excuse me, and the people that we've talked to when we've talked about CDL training have indicated that this test, if you can pass it, at an 80 or 90%, you're going to be good to go on the real thing. So I can't screen share or show you what's actually in the app on a computer. At least I don't know how to do that. But if anyone downloads it, you may show it, or you've downloaded it, you may show it to those in the classroom with you that haven't seen it yet. But there are the sections of the test that you'll need. So general knowledge, combinations, vehicle, and air brakes. You should study all three of those. Those are going to be all of the written part, the permit part of the test that you're going to need. There are the extra endorsements that you can test for, such as hazmat, hazardous material, passengers. If you're going to drive a vehicle that carries more than 16 people, you have to get a passenger endorsement, doubles and triples. So we're thinking, semis that are hauling two or three trailers rather than just the typical one. Tanks, when we're thinking about tanks, those are the things that have the tanks that have liquid or some type of material that can slosh around, move around inside of them. So you have to go through special training and take special tests just for that. Or a school bus, you do have to be 19. Some of these, you do have to be older than 18. You have to be 19 in order to get endorsed in them. But that might be something that you want to do later on. You can use that app. It has a drop down, and you can go through at least, like I said, the general knowledge, combination vehicle, and air brakes. Those are the ones you have to get on. You have to pass to get through the test to get your permit and actually start with the school and all of the other things that are encompassed in this. Like I said, when you can consistently pass the test at 90% pass rate, you are most likely ready for the real written exam. And you can, obviously, this app, you're able to use your phone if you don't have access to a computer, you forget to charge your Chromebook, something like that, you can use this app instead. So what I want to look through now is the Arkansas CDL manual. I believe we kind of looked at this in the introductory session in the first session, but let's make sure that we're looking at this. You can find this online. You can look it up, or you can go to this and just click on this link right here. Now, this one is going to be specific to Arkansas, but remember, we can go through all of this information, see all of this. Again, it is 156 pages, but it has been recommended that you at least try and read through it at least once, and take a look at some of the really important things that you're going to need for your CDL. Obviously, I don't want to read through all this. That would take a really long time, but you can see it has all the sections that would be covered, all the things that if you're struggling on one section or one topic, you may want to come to this and just find where that is and then work through it. You've got the table of contents, and you can see air brakes, combination vehicles. You're going to want to look at those and study up on those. Anything else might be an endorsement that you don't need just yet, but when we talk about on-road driving, that may be something you want to look at, especially as you get closer to taking your actual driving test. The YouTube resources I wanted to go over before we hop into some more study material. This is just CDL general knowledge. This man
Now this is my hair
we'll get through this.
on day 3. I tried every oily hair product and hack out there. My scalp would still be greasy by lunch. Like it was constantly.
If you're watching
this man runs this channel. It's the Driving Academy CDL truck driving academy, where he goes through everything that you need to know about getting your CDL. They're pretty good videos, and I would really encourage you all to look through these videos. He kind of goes over pretty much everything we go over, but a little bit more in depth, and he actually goes over practice material, practice questions, things that we're going to touch but not be able to go in depth in. So I want to play this video just for a little bit and just give you an idea of what he's going to talk about, and then we'll look at another video.
That means that you're looking for CDL general knowledge questions answers that are going to show up on any general knowledge.
I hope you all were able to hear that. It might have some difficulty with sharing audio. Let me make sure.
Test that you're going to take no matter what part of the country that you're in. We help thousands of students every single year get their CDL license by getting them past all the written exams, plus get them past that 2.5 hour long road test. Now this video is going to be a little bit different than those other videos out there because I'm not a robot and I'm an actual person. So let's get into the questions and answers that you're going to need to know in order to pass your general knowledge test. That being said, what I'm going to do is I'm not just going to give you questions and answers and hopefully that you memorize it. I'm going to give you some knowledge behind why the answer is what it is. So even if DMV goes in there and switches one of the questions or one of the words in that question, you're still able to pass this test with no problems, right?
So that part is actually really important, and I'm glad he mentioned that. As we're going through this, it's okay to just jump into these practice tests, and it's okay to just try them and just see, what score you get, and maybe you pass, and that's fine. But and he may describe this in the next minute or so of the video. But what's going to be really important is you need to know the rationale behind the answers for these tests. It's more important to know that because if they ask the question in a sort of different way, you're going to need to know why the answer is still the answer. You might think back to your regular driver's license test. The questions could be asked in multiple different ways that have the same type of answer. So you need to make sure that as you're going through and studying, you're actually trying to understand why things are the way they are. Why, whenever I'm being asked about XYZ on driving a truck or this process that I may have to know about, why that is the way it is. Because if you don't know that and they ask a question in just a slightly different way compared to what you're used to, you could get it wrong. And so just make sure that as you're doing this studying, listening to these videos, whatever, you're understanding, why the answer is the way it is.
The problem when people have taking this general knowledge test is they go in memorizing just specific questions, which means specific answers are tied to that. But the problem is DMV can switch one word and everything's different. So it's time to actually teach you the proper way to think about this stuff, give you the real knowledge, and this is going to be a sample of what you'd get if you become an actual student here at Driving Academy. And like I said, we're the best in the country, so let's give you the best answers and questions for the CDL General Knowledge exam. So let's go one more time. The first question that we're going to be talking about in the CDL General Knowledge is going to be this question here. When traveling down a downgrade, you should do what? A. Shift gears when necessary. B. Never shift gears. C. Use engine retarders only if necessary. Or D. A and C. Well, a lot of people are probably going to pick D, but the real answer here is going to be never shift gears. So when you're actually traveling down a downgrade, that means your whole vehicle is actually going downhill, right? And if you're in a manual transmission vehicle, the way it should work is as you're traveling uphill, you want to make sure that you're in the proper safe speed. So say you're traveling uphill in about 8th gear. The rules are by the time you go downhill, you want to make sure that you go to 1 gear lower than the gear you climbed up, which means that you're going to be in 7th gear on the way down. This is going to prevent any kind of downgrading or any kind of shifting necessary because you're going to be at a safe speed and your engine's going to keep you at that speed and you don't have to wear out your brakes. If you do this correctly, then you're going to avoid a lot of mistakes and a potential big fine and a big accident itself. So the answer to this question is B, never shift your gears when going down a long downgrade. Because all you have to do is mess up one time and not get into gear. All of a sudden, now you're traveling in neutral, and good luck trying to stop an 80,000 pound vehicle going down a downgrade that can take miles and miles on end, right? That's something called a Mexican overdrive. I don't know how it got the name, but pretty much that's where you're just pretty much just going, and you're gonna put your head between your legs, and you're gonna kiss you know what goodbye, because it's very little and very hard for you to control. So the question here is going to be B, never shift gears. All right, next question.
So we won't watch anything beyond that, but that is kind of how he does these. So he'll give you the question, give you the answers, and then he'll actually explain why it is the way it is. So hopefully you learn, again, the rationale behind things. This next link is to another channel that just does general CDL prep.
Yes, and they
Uh, you can see I watched it and it tracked where I was, but it's from DMV Pass, and these are just general knowledge questions. This applies to all states. They may have some specific to Arkansas. I haven't seen that, but if it's all states, then we know we're good. This is just 61 question and answer kind of portions. This pretty much just goes, it's going to give you the question, it's going to give you a second to figure out your answer, and then it's going to tell you what the right answer was. So we'll do about 5 of these, and I'll let you all see exactly what this looks like. This is a robot, kind of like AI reading this, but definitely something that may help you if you're more of an audio type of learner.
questions and answers to study for your CDL permit test. I'll be reading every question and you have 10 seconds to figure out the correct answer before it is revealed to you. Some questions may be duplicated just to help you review and effortlessly memorize the answers. Good luck. Question number 1. You are driving a 40-foot vehicle at 35 miles per hour. The road is dry and visibility is good. What is the least amount of space you should keep in front of your vehicle to be safe? The correct answer is B, 4 seconds. Explanation. The formula for following distance is 1 second for each 10 feet of vehicle, plus an additional second if you're traveling over 40 miles per hour. As a result, you need to provide a 4-second following distance for a 40-foot vehicle moving at 35 miles per hour. Question number 2. You should wear a seatbelt in a moving vehicle. The correct answer is B, all the time. Question number 3. Which of these items is not checked for a pre-trip inspection? The correct answer is B, amount of fuel on a vehicle. Question number 4. Which of the statements about pre-trip inspection is true? The correct answer is C. If you need to tilt a cab, secure loose things so that they could not fall or break anything. Question number 5. Can state inspectors inspect your truck or bus? The correct answer is C. Yes, and they can put you out of service if unsafe. Question number 6.
So as you can see, that's just kind of how that runs. You can obviously pause it if it goes a little too fast for you. I know I would have a hard time getting through those long answers if I was doing that with the amount of time they're giving us, but that may prepare you a little bit more for the real test. But obviously the 61 general knowledge questions, and then you may be able to access that channel and go through and see some more specific sections of a test that you may want to look into. So Those are really good video resources. And I maybe have a couple more that we'll talk about before the end of this session, but I would highly, highly encourage you all to just go through and study those. I know studying is not fun. I know reading and looking through things is not fun either. But if you want to pass this test and just want to do it one and done, then you're really going to have to put in just a little bit of work. And these are, again, good resources for that. So let's hop into what what else we could look into. So I know this says session two, and the one we just did said session one. We're combining these just to make them a little more condensed for you all. But this is going to talk a little bit more about some online resources, online tests, things like that that you can look into. So again, this recording will be posted if you need to come back to it. And we also have a recording that we may watch for an interview with someone from Coca-Cola of the Ozarks. I'm not entirely sure. I'm trying to get some speakers to come on the last day that we all get together. But if not, if we don't watch this that day and you want to come back, it's a really good session. Uh, Last I looked, they weren't hiring for anyone. But that doesn't mean that you couldn't reach out and just send a resume, let them know that you're interested if you would like to. They pay really good. They also pay for the training if you do it right and go through everything. And so they're based out of Lowell in Northwest Arkansas. That's where they leave out of. They have some other regional areas, but Lowell would be where you would go out of if you wanted a job with them. So let's discuss a little bit about how, speaking of, Coca-Cola paying for it, how the program can be paid for. So there are pretty much two or three options that you've really got. If you do this program, if you go through not just this program, but go through NWTI, there may be some funding that we're not aware of right now that may come out that you may want to apply for that could help us, like a scholarship. You could just go through this, become a truck driver, or get a career that requires a CDL, like being a lineman, or, getting becoming a diesel mechanic so you can drive the vehicles. Those options would help you pay that off retroactively. So you would have to put the money up front, maybe in like sort of a student loan or something like that, but then you could pay it off. And again, your earning potential is pretty high. You could probably pay that off relatively quick compared to other people that take out loans for education. And you have to keep in mind too, the payment for the school is no more than $4,000. At least it wasn't that much the last time we've looked. No more than, I want to say it was $3,500 or $3,700, which, yes, that is a lot of money. But when you're looking at that compared to people who go in $10,000 of debt for one semester of college, you're doing pretty good at that point. But you do have to have all that up front. Otherwise, NWTI, this is the numbers, what I'm basing numbers off of, probably will not let you enroll in their class. The other way would be to go get hired somewhere, and then, like Coke does, they would send you to the training, and then you don't have to pay for the training, but you do have to work at that company typically for a year or two. They all have different time frames that they want you to work, but you have to work in order to essentially, quote unquote, pay back that opportunity to get your CDL for free. It's not a bad option, especially, if you can't go over state lines till you're 21 and you have a really good option from the age of 18 to 21 and they want you to work for 2 years, you work for 3, you're in the clear and you're making good money. So that might be a really good option for you to consider. All that being said, we need to start work on finding applications, finding jobs that you may want prior to enrolling in CDL school. So what I want you to do now, your career coach could send you this link right here, or you should be able to scan this. I'll try it with you all to make sure that it all works out like we think it should. But this takes you to a Google form, and feel free, you can use your phone. I'll make sure to move my cursor so that way you don't get messed up. This should take you to a Google form or a Google Doc that allows you to fill some information out. If you don't mind going and fill that out, just so your career coaches and myself can know kind of where everyone that's in this program is at and see what we may need to do to help you all. So again, remember, I'm trying to recruit some speakers, and we've got these digital videos of some speakers that have spoken in the past whenever we've done this. And on the last day, we'll kind of look at some jobs that are out there. But we need to know, do you need help finding a job? Do you already have a plan? Is there anything we need to help you with that plan? But I'm going to give you all just a few minutes to scan this, fill that out, and then whenever you see the screen start moving, we'll be good to go again. All right, let's move back on. So again, this would have been if we would have broken this up, but there's the information on the physicals, and here's the manual. So make sure, like I said just a minute ago, that we're reading through this. If you need to get with your career coach, I'm sure they would be happy to let you come in if you have a free period, or if you go to some job, or you go to a technical school like NWTI or ICTC, and you have a little bit of a gap before you have to go to class and you want to come back. I'm sure your career coach would be happy to sit and either let you work through the manual or answer any questions or look for answers for anything that you may have. And then remember this app that we recommend, the CDL Prep app. Other than that, let's look at this other resource called the Trucking Truth. So we can click on this link and this brings you to right here, or just so that way we're familiar with it, you can get out your Chromebooks and you can go to trucking truth. Just type that in Google, and then let's click right here. And then it brings you to the exact same website. And then where we're going to want to go, at least at first, is right here to H.I.R.E.D training. You can also register and make a login. I tried to do that, and then the password I put in apparently was not the right password, and I've not been able to get it changed. But you'll want to go right here. Sorry about that. My Google, if you heard that, my Google must have heard me. Um, you can go right here and just do some uh, looking at all this that you need. But if you want to make an account, then you can actually come back in and it'll look at all the things that you've done in the past, kind of do a review session whenever you start back in on any sessions. And so it'll be really a good thing if you make a login, and it just needs an email address and a password. But let's look back here. I know it's just the same thing, but we have this opportunity to go through all these different sessions that we may want. They're talking about how they have AI to help you, and we've got this video you can watch if you want. We're not going to any testimonials, but you can kind of see all this website. The main thing that we're gonna want to focus on is over here in this little dashboard. So whenever we're looking at all these things, we want to make sure that we're focusing, at least just right now, probably on the permit, the things that have permit in parentheses. And so that's the introduction, driving safety, um, you may not need to worry so much about transporting cargo or passengers right now, but it might be something that you want to look into. Air brakes, combination vehicles, those two are things that you're going to really want to focus on. All these endorsements, kind of talked about them earlier, but that's not anything I would stress over right now. If you know this is a pathway for you, if you know, man, I really want to transport hazardous materials, if something about that just draws you in, of course you can study it, but this is not the focus of what we're going to do right now. You need to pass the original test first, and then you can go back and do an endorsement. You may want to study for, a vehicle inspection, basic vehicle control skills, but then we also have on-road driving. So that kind of helps you go over when you're actually going to be on the road, doing the things, driving the vehicle. And then we have a couple other things, but the main ones I would focus on if I was you all would be the introduction, these first few things that have permits, specifically air brakes, combination vehicles, and then anything else that has permit down here, probably because this is just going to be part of a general knowledge test. Again, as we're going through this, I'll click on introduction and we'll click on this. Um, I'm not going to read all of this, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. I'm not going to read it just to save us some time today, but that does not mean that you should not actually go through and read all of these things. These are going to be very important for you all. And so you need to actually, put some time aside to make sure that we're going over what it is we're testing for. And it does help you review everything by answering the questions. Or whenever you answer the questions, it'll tell you if you got something right or wrong, and it'll tell you why it is the way that it is. It'll pull it straight from up here. So let's go through these first three questions. So we've just got three over pretty much the introduction session. And again, all the answers are going to be up here. I would probably say it's best to read first and then test, but you're not going to get in trouble if you want to just test and see what you know and then go back and study what you're unsure of. But let's look at this. So any single vehicle with a GVWR of 26,001 pound or more falls in which class? So we've got Class A, Class C, Class D, Class B. I'm going to say that's pretty big weight. I'm going to assume it's probably going to be Class B or Class A. Let's go look though. So we can start with Class B because if the number is lower, we know it's going to be A. But we know that if you don't know, the GVWR is the gross vehicle weight rating, and then GCWR is the gross combination weight rating. So that's if we have a tractor and a trailer, or a truck and a trailer, as opposed to just having the vehicle itself weighted. So for Class B, heavy straight vehicles, any single vehicle with a GVWR of 26,001 or more pounds falls in Group B, or any such vehicle towing another vehicle not in excess of 100 or 10,000 pounds, GVWR. So that gives us that answer there. We click B, gives us the nice little check mark, and we can click this and it'll tell us exactly why it is the way that it is. You must have a CDL to operate. It's probably a good guess that we're going to need one to operate all these things because these are pulling straight from up here. I'm going to assume that's the right answer, but I'm just going to click on this just to show you what happens if you get the answer wrong. So it was all of the above, or all the below, I guess. So you need one, if your GV, gross vehicle weight rating, is pretty much over 26,000 pounds. If the combination GCWR is over 26,000 pounds, and provided that the vehicle being towed is in excess of 10,000 pounds. And you need one, like I said earlier, if you're transporting 16 or more passengers. So that would be like a school bus or a passenger vehicle. But you get the big red X, and then you can click here and it's going to explain exactly why and all the things you need in order to operate a CDL. There is a fourth type of vehicle, or a fourth type of, I guess, vehicle that, yes, it's not included in the question, but it's pretty much any size vehicle which requires hazardous material placards or carrying material listed as a select agent or toxin. And so that's going to be very specific. And that may be something that you might find more in like an endorsement, but it's still good to know about hazardous materials. Any combination of vehicles with a gross combination weight rating of 26,001 pound or more, where the GVWR of the vehicles being towed is more than 10,000 pounds, falls into which group? So let's look at all this. Again, we know based on this one, it's probably going to be Class B or Class A, but let's look. So any combination with a weight of yes, of that, provided that the GVWR of the vehicle being towed is more than 10,000 pounds. So this says more, whereas with the Class B, it says not in excess, so pretty much less than 10,000 pounds. So therefore, we know that this is going to be a Class A combination vehicle. And again, it's going to tell us exactly what we just pulled up. So you're going to want to look. We can return to the table of contents for the introductory section, but we'll just go back to the dashboard. You're going to want to read, you're going to want to look through those things. And then as you go through this, you're going to want to do all of these. And then especially, like I said, all the air brakes. I know that looks like a lot, but it is really important that you get studied up on those. We've heard of people who have not studied that hard and have just not passed. And I will tell you from experiences we've heard from people, the people that you're going to work with at NWTI, they are there to help you. I believe I said this last session, but if you don't put in the work, they're just going to let you fail. And so it really falls on you. It's time to do some adulting, time to do some studying, and really put some time into getting your CDL. Make sure to, I guess I should note this, I have a little note. Whenever you go to register, you're going to want to use an email that is not your school email. I know some of you may not be the right age yet. You may be 17, going to turn 18, closer to graduation, or you may not be taking the test or anything until after graduation. You're going to want to use a personal email that you can access, because if you use a school one, you might be stuck and not be able to get back into your account. You can go up here too. I want to show you this. So we probably won't look too much into these three things right here. The trucker forum, paid CDL training if we don't want to pay for it, or the truck driving jobs. We would probably want to look for something a little more specific to Northwest Arkansas. But the CDL practice test, these are going to be tests that you can take eventually. However, I would probably go through the H.I.R.E.D training, go through this dashboard before I attempted any of these, just to make sure that whenever you try these, you're really going to be able to focus and know the answers and treat this like a real test. You don't have to do that. That's just my personal advice for you all. So let's go back to this document. And I want to show you all that they actually, on the Trucking Truth, they actually have a section that talks about what it takes to get a CDL in Arkansas. And so if you're confused about anything, a lot of this information is stuff that we've already talked about. But if you're confused about anything, this website does provide that information for you as well. Again, use that H.I.R.E.D training whenever we're going on the Trucking Truth website. I kind of want to wrap this video up with a couple more resources. So I won't make you all watch the video again from the Driving Academy man, but I do want to show you this other video that he has.
I knew that I wasn't in good health. Then one day I went to get my blood work done and the results were not good. I was fatigued.
Alright, so if you're watching this video, that probably means that you're looking to get a CDL license and you want to get your CDL permit. So in order to get your CDL permit, the first test that you're going to have to pass at the...
I'll let him speak for just a few more minutes and then we'll move on from this video and you all can watch it. Either you can stay with your career coach if you're able and watch one of these videos if you want, or if you want to do this on your own time, that's fine as well.
DMV is going to be called general knowledge, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's going to make sure that you understand the general knowledge of what it means to actually get a CDL license and drive a tractor trailer or a Class B vehicle safely. That being said, This video, we're going to be going through a bunch of questions and answers about the general knowledge that might show up on your actual test itself, so make sure you watch all the way to the end to get all the questions and all the answers necessary to do that. Now, this is the second video in this series that we're actually talking about general knowledge. If you want to check out the first video that we did already, or some more training, make sure you click on this link right over here, and then we're definitely able to help you out with that as well. So let's get right into the show. Alright, so now the special question of this video is actually going to be the last one. So let me tell you exactly what that question is going to be. You are driving on a clear night with your low beams on. Your headlights are only allowing you to see 250 feet ahead of you. You should adjust your speed so you can stop within how many feet? If you wait till the end of this video, I'll give you all the possible answers and we'll see exactly what's going on. Is it going to be 250 feet, 300 feet, 100 feet? I guess you have to wait till the end to find out. And I know that this is going to be one of the things that does pop up on your test, so make sure you wait all the way to the end of this video and you will have the answer that you're waiting for. Thanks. So the first question of today's video is going to read like this. You're the first one on the scene of an accident. The first thing you should do is A. Help the injured. B. Stop other motorists for assistance. C. Protect the scene. Or D. Notify authorities. So the correct answer here is C, protect the scene. Now, how can you protect the scene? So if you're a tractor trailer driver, you're actually going to be having 3 triangles that look exactly like this right over here. And then that's going to be the first way that you're going to protect the scene itself. If it's super dangerous, maybe you want to use your vehicle to protect the scene, as long as it's not going to be impeding traffic behind you. So make sure you are careful. Step number 1 is going to be to protect the scene. Step number 2, of course, make sure that you are notifying the authorities to be there. Alright, so next question. Which is the slickest road surface?
So again, we won't go through all these. I'll let you all do this. This is about a 10-minute video, so not too bad. But I urge you all to go watch this video and find out what the answer was to that special question. But you can see this is pretty much how he does his things. He asks a question, then gives you the reasoning behind that, tells you all the alternatives. So maybe if they would have asked, what do you need to put out whenever you need to protect the scene first, if possible, you could have said the triangle reflector devices. Again, here's the interview with Coke if you want to see it. And right now, at this point, I would say, if you've got some extra time with your coach, just chat with them, see what you want to do, make a game plan, and then you are good to go on my end today. I appreciate everyone listening in, watching this recording. I'm hopeful that the next session we are able to do this in person. If not, you'll have another recording from me, but we will plan to see each other at least and do everything kind of a wrap up on March the 5th. If there are any questions between now and the next session, please let your career coach know so they can let me know, and I will get an answer for you as soon as I can. Other than that, please enjoy the snow, stay safe, stay warm, and have a wonderful day.